Cooking for your wife is one of the simplest yet most profound acts of love a man can show. It goes beyond the practical need of putting food on the table. It's a statement. It says, I see you, I value you, and I care enough to serve you. You see, in relationships, it's often not the grand gestures, but the everyday acts of kindness that hold things together. Cooking, an act so basic, becomes deeply meaningful when it's done with intention and love. It shows humility, patience, and a willingness to invest time in something that blesses another person. Think about it. When a man steps into the kitchen to prepare a meal for his wife, he's saying, I don't just want to receive love from you, I want to express my love in a tangible way. That is powerful. And for those who are spiritually inclined, it's a reflection of servant leadership. The greatest example of leadership we've been given comes from serving others. Jesus himself said he came not to be served, but to serve. In marriage, that principle becomes a foundation. A man who serves his wife in small, consistent ways like cooking mirrors that same humility and dedication. And let's not overlook the message it sends to the heart of a woman. When a man cooks for his wife, she feels cherished, respected, and valued. It's not just about the food, it's about the effort, the thoughtfulness, and the care behind it. And when a woman feels loved and supported, she naturally reciprocates that love in ways that strengthen the relationship. That's the beauty of service. It's never one-sided. What you pour into someone else inevitably returns to you in ways you never imagined. Now, someone might say, well, isn't cooking traditionally her role? But love has no room for rigid roles. Love thrives in flexibility and a willingness to meet each other's needs. When a man is willing to step into her world, even in something as routine as making a meal, he's breaking down stereotypes, fostering partnership, and building trust. It's not about who should be doing what, it's about what makes the bond stronger. And when you take that step, it not only strengthens your marriage, but sets an example for others. It teaches your children and those around you that love is active, not passive. And here's the thing. This doesn't mean you have to be a professional chef or prepare a gourmet meal. It's not about perfection, it's about effort. Even a simple meal can communicate volumes when it's prepared with love. The act itself is the message. When you step into the kitchen, you're stepping into a role that says, I'm here to contribute, to lighten your load, to make your day a little brighter. That's leadership. That's love in action. And let me tell you, when you lead with love, your wife will notice, your family will notice, people will notice. There's something magnetic about acts of genuine care, and the beauty of it is it starts to ripple outward. It inspires others, your children, your friends, even your community, to think differently about what love and service look like in action. So, don't underestimate the power of cooking for your wife. It's a small act that carries a big message. I value you enough to serve you. And when love is served on a plate, it has a way of nourishing not just the body, but the heart and soul as well. There's a powerful statement made when a man steps into the kitchen, not as a guest, but as an active participant in his household. It challenges a long-standing narrative that has shaped what leadership looks like in relationships and in the home. For far too long, we've been told that leadership is about control, authority, or delegating tasks to others. But real leadership, the kind that transforms lives and strengthens families, is rooted in action, service, and the willingness to break down outdated norms. A man who cooks for his wife isn't just preparing a meal, he's redefining what it means to lead. Think about it. For generations, society placed people in boxes. Men do this, women do that. But relationships, especially marriages, thrive when those boxes are broken and both individuals work together as a team. When a man cooks for his wife, he's not only helping in a practical sense, but he's also sending a clear message. I value our partnership. I value you. Leadership in the home isn't about holding on to rigid roles. It's about stepping up where you're needed, and sometimes that's in the kitchen. This kind of leadership is powerful because it's rooted in humility. It's saying, I'm not too proud to serve. I'm not too proud to learn. I'm not too proud to do something that might traditionally fall outside of what's expected of me. In fact, it's in these moments of humility that when a man cooks for his wife, it's not about flipping the script or reversing roles. It's about balance, mutual respect, and shared responsibility. And here's what's beautiful. Leadership in this form isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention or applause. It speaks for itself in small, consistent acts that build trust. And when your wife sees you taking the time to step into the kitchen, it tells her that you care enough to share the load, that you recognize her efforts, and that you want to be a part of making life better for both of you. It's a form of love that's visible, tangible, and deeply impactful. There's also something incredibly attractive about a man who's willing to challenge societal expectations for the sake of his family. It shows confidence and security, qualities that every great leader possesses. You're saying, I'm not defined by what others think I should or shouldn't do. I'm defined by the love I have for my wife and the willingness to act on it. And here's the truth. When you lead in this way, others will take notice. Your children will see it. They'll grow up with a different understanding of what leadership looks like in a home. They'll see that it's not about dominance, but about partnership and love in action. And let's not forget the joy and connection that come from shared experiences in the kitchen. Cooking together or even watching someone cook for you is an intimate act. It creates memories, builds laughter, and strengthens the bond between two people. It's not just about the food. It's about the time, the effort, and the love that go into it. When you step into the kitchen, you're stepping into an opportunity to lead with love and to create something meaningful that goes far beyond the meal itself. So for the men listening, understand this. Cooking for your wife isn't just a chore. It's a statement. It says, I'm here for you. I value our partnership, and I'm willing to do what it takes to make our relationship thrive. It's leadership, not from a position of authority, but from a position of love, service, and humility. And that kind of leadership is unshakable. It inspires not only your wife, but everyone who sees it. Because when love and leadership meet, they create something extraordinary, a legacy that lasts far beyond the moment. When a man takes the time to cook for his wife, something beautiful happens. It sets a tone of rhythm, a culture of reciprocity within the relationship. It's like planting a seed that over time blossoms into a dynamic where both partners feel seen, valued, and inspired to give back to one another. You see, every relationship thrives on a balance of give and take. And one of the most profound ways to create that balance is through small acts of kindness that say, I'm here to make your life a little easier, a little brighter. Now let's pause and think about this. Cooking is one of those acts that naturally invites reciprocity. When a man steps into the kitchen, he's not only providing nourishment for his wife, but also sending a message that says, I care enough about you to put effort into something that blesses you. And here's what's so amazing about this. The more you pour into your spouse, the more she feels inspired to pour back into you. It creates a beautiful, self-sustaining cycle of love and appreciation. And don't get me wrong, it's not about doing something so you can get something in return. True love doesn't keep score. But what you'll find is that love, when given freely and consistently, has this way of sparking something in the other person. It reminds them of why they fell in love with you in the first place. It makes them want to go the extra mile for you, not out of obligation, but out of joy. Now let's take it one step further. Acts of love like cooking are rooted in the principle of sowing and reaping. When you invest in your relationship, when you take the time to do something thoughtful, even if it's as simple as preparing a meal, you're planting seeds. And those seeds don't just stay buried, they grow. They grow into greater trust, deeper intimacy, and a stronger bond between you and your wife. Galatians 6:7 reminds us, whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap. That's not just about material blessings, it's about relationships too. But what you invest in others, especially your spouse, will always come back to you. Cooking is also a way of saying, I see you and I want to honor you. Think about how powerful that is in a world where everyone seems so focused on their own needs and desires. Taking the time to cook for your wife says, I'm not just thinking about myself, I'm thinking about you, about us. And here's the beauty of reciprocity. It's contagious. When you model this kind of love, it doesn't just stay between the two of you. It spills over into your home, your family, and even your community. Your children see it and learn that love isn't just words, it's action. They grow up understanding that relationships are built on service, on giving, and on finding joy in blessing others. And let me tell you, when reciprocity becomes the norm in your relationship, it's transformative. It shifts the atmosphere in your home. Instead of feeling like one person is always giving while the other is always receiving, there's balance, harmony, and a mutual desire to see each other thrive. It's not about grand gestures or extravagant acts. It's about the little things done consistently that create a foundation of love and trust. So when you cook for your wife, know that you're doing more than just preparing a meal. You're sowing seeds of love and reciprocity. You're building a culture in your relationship where both of you feel valued and inspired to give your best to each other. And that, my friends, is the kind of love that lasts. It's the kind of love that grows stronger with time, creating a legacy of care, service, and joy that others can't help but notice. When a man cooks for his wife, it opens the door to a deeper level of connection and communication that words alone can't achieve. You see, food has this incredible way of bringing people together. It's not just about eating, it's about the experience, the act of sharing, and the love that goes into preparing something with your own hands. Cooking becomes a bridge, a way to connect not only through what's on the plate, but also through the time, effort, and thoughtfulness it represents. Think about the moments in life when you've truly connected with someone. It often wasn't during the big, flashy events, but in the quiet, intimate spaces where you felt seen and understood. The kitchen, of all places, becomes one of those spaces. When a man takes the time to prepare a meal for his wife, it creates an environment where walls can come down, conversations can flow, and connections can deepen. There's something about sitting down together to share a meal that fosters openness and vulnerability. It says, let's take this moment for us to be present, to listen, to share. Now, let's look at the act of cooking itself. It requires attention to detail, patience, and creativity, all of which mirror the qualities needed to nurture a healthy relationship. When you cook for your wife, you're essentially saying, I'm paying attention to what you like, what makes you happy, and I'm willing to put in the effort to bring that to life. And when you serve that meal, it's not just food, it's a message. It's a way of saying, I care about you, and I want to make you feel loved. Food also has a way of triggering memories and emotions. A simple meal can remind someone of a special moment, a favorite dish from childhood, or even a time when they felt most loved. When you cook for your wife, you're creating new memories together, memories that will become part of the story of your relationship. It's not just about what you're serving today, it's about the moments you're building for tomorrow. And here's what's remarkable. Food opens the door to conversation. It's not just about the flavors or the recipe, it's about the time you spend together while you eat. Maybe it's sharing how your day went, laughing about something silly, or even diving into deeper topics that might not come up otherwise. A meal creates a natural pause in the busyness of life, giving you both a chance to reconnect and refocus on what matters most: each other. And it's not just the meal itself, it's the process. If you've ever cooked with someone, you know how collaborative it can be. It's not about perfection, it's about working together, making mistakes, and enjoying the process. Cooking together, or even watching your spouse cook, creates moments where you can laugh, bond, and build intimacy in ways that few other activities can. Now, let's be honest. Cooking might not come naturally to every man, and that's okay. It's not about becoming a master chef, it's about the effort and the heart behind it. Whether it's a simple breakfast, a favorite dish, or even an attempt at something new, what matters is the thought you put into it. Your wife will see that effort and appreciate it, not because of how perfect the meal is, but because of the love it represents. So when you cook for your wife, understand that you're doing more than just preparing food. You're creating a space for connection, communication, and intimacy. You're building a bridge between your hearts, one that strengthens your bond and deepens your understanding of each other. It's a small act with a big impact, one that reminds her, I'm here for you, I'm invested in us. And in those moments, as you sit down together to share what you created, you'll find that it's not just about the meal, it's about the love and connection it inspires. When a man takes the time to cook for his wife, he will never lack her appreciation. You see, it's not just the act of cooking, it's the thought behind it that truly resonates. It's the fact that you stopped, considered her needs, and chose to invest your time and effort into doing something that makes her feel loved. That's the kind of gesture that doesn't go unnoticed. And let me tell you, it doesn't take a five-star meal to earn that appreciation. Even the simplest dish, when prepared with love, can speak louder than any words. Cooking for your wife is one of those acts that tells her, I see you, I recognize all that you do, and I want to contribute to this partnership. And what happens when someone feels valued? They reflect that appreciation back to you. It may not come in the same form. Maybe it's her going out of her way to support you, encouraging you in your dreams, or even just showing you the same level of thoughtfulness in return. But the energy you give comes back. Love and gratitude have a way of multiplying when they're shared. Now, appreciation isn't always verbal. Sometimes it's in her smile, the way her eyes light up when she sees the effort you've made, or the way she talks about you to others. Believe me, when a woman feels cherished, she can't help but let the world know how much she values the man who shows her that love. Your small act of cooking could become the moment she remembers on a tough day, or the stories she shares with friends about how lucky she feels to have you. And here's the beauty of it. It's not just about that one meal. It's about the consistency. When you make this a habit, a natural part of how you love and serve, you create an environment in your marriage where gratitude flows freely. She doesn't take you for granted because you've shown her time and time again that you're willing to step in and show up in meaningful ways. And in doing so, you foster a bond that's rooted in mutual respect and admiration. So men, know this. When you cook for your wife, you're doing more than making her a meal. You're making her feel appreciated, loved, and supported in a way that words alone can't express. And in return, you'll find that her appreciation for you will overflow into every part of your relationship, creating a love that only grows stronger with time. When a man cooks for his wife, something extraordinary happens. People take notice. It's not just your wife who feels the love, it's everyone around you who witnesses your actions. Whether it's your children, your friends, or even strangers, they see what you're doing and are drawn to it. Why? Because love in action is magnetic. It inspires, it challenges others to rethink what it means to truly care for the people in their lives. And in a world where so many are caught up in words without follow through, your simple act of cooking becomes a powerful testimony of what love looks like in practice. Think about your children if you have them. When they see their father stepping into the kitchen to serve their mother, you're teaching them something profound about relationships. Sons learn what it means to lead with love and humility. Daughters see what it looks like to be valued and cared for by a partner. You're modeling a standard for their future relationships, showing them that love isn't about rigid roles or expectations. It's about stepping up for each other, no matter the task. Your home, the ripple effect continues. Friends might joke about it at first, but deep down they admire it. They see the way your wife lights up when you make her feel special, and it plants a seed in their minds. Maybe it inspires them to step up in their own relationships, to look for ways to serve and connect on a deeper level. You never know how your actions could spark a change in someone else's life. Love, when demonstrated openly and genuinely, has a way of multiplying. And let's not forget that the kitchen is often the heart of the home. It's where life happens. By stepping into that space with intention and love, you're making a statement about your priorities. You're saying, this marriage matters. This family matters. I'm here and I'm invested. And when people see that, they're drawn to it, not just because of the act itself, but because of the spirit behind it. Love that's visible, love that's intentional, has a way of drawing people closer, whether they're in your home or watching from the sidelines. So, when you cook for your wife, know that you're doing more than preparing a meal. You're setting an example, creating ripples of inspiration, and showing the world what it looks like to love through action. And in doing so, you're not just strengthening your relationship, you're planting seeds of change in the hearts of everyone who witnesses your love in motion.